Welcome to Truth About Relationship and Marriage, where we say it as it is. Absolutely no taboo topic with us. There is the tendency of young people getting into relationship, and when this relationship goes sour and they have a heartbreak, instead of healing and moving on with their life, they turn to decide to take their lives. There's a story of this young girl, young Cameroonian girl who lived in the US, precisely in Maryland, who was in a long distance relationship with her boyfriend. So she did all that which she could and made her boyfriend come over to the US with the intention that he was going to marry her. And unfortunately for her, this guy, while in the US, decided to choose some other woman to marry and had even fixed a date for the wedding. This young girl who had invested in her all for this relationship could not take it and then decided to commit suicide. This video is to bring to us early enough a couple of signs, about 13 signs, a couple of signs that will tell if someone is having suicidal tendencies or if someone is struggling with something and probably getting into a state of depression. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Esson Miranda. Let's dive straight into the various signs to detect if someone is having suicidal tendencies. First thing, suicidal messages. They talk about it in a subtle way, maybe in a text message or in the form of a conversation. They will mention issues about taking their life, maybe in their art, in their journals. They will talk about it. They will have themes that has to talk about taking their lives. Sign number two, social withdrawal. They will turn to want to be alone. See, they will have this tendency of feeling that no one in the world cares about them, and then they will withdraw and tend to be more alone. They will refuse forms of engagement or public activities and will turn to stay alone. One thing I will want to draw your attention to is that in as much as children as well as elderly persons have the tendency of exhibiting a couple of these signs. So using these signs, you can be able to detect if a child is having suicidal tendencies as well as if an elderly person, an adult, is having suicidal tendencies. I said number two, they tend to withdraw. Number three, giving away prize and valuable objects. Things that they value before and cherished, they will turn to give them away. Probably because they are saying to themselves, of what use is it for me to keep it since I'll be away? Let me better give it off to someone else. Sign number four, they become hostile. They turn to be hostile and easily irritated. They will use irritable language. At the slightest thing, they become completely upset. The next sign is that they begin to neglect their physical appearance. They don't see the need to take care of themselves as they used to take care of themselves before. They tend to neglect their physical appearance. With this, you can get to understand that someone is getting into a state of depression. And it's funny enough that the next sign seems to be completely opposite to this, to the previous. They turn to be very, very meticulous and clean. Someone mentioned that when she was having suicidal thoughts, what she did was she started to put her things together, in order, her objects in order in her room, so that in case she leaves, she doesn't give as much trouble to those who will remain behind her to put her things in order. So you must also be very careful with this sign, with someone who suddenly becomes very, very tidy and very, very orderly. The next sign is they start exhibiting risky behavior. They tend to get involved in very risky activities because they no longer care much about their life. They no longer care much about the value of their life. And it also involves even promiscuity, high state of promiscuity, not caring about whatever could happen to them because they don't care much anymore about their life. The next sign is there is a change of appetite. It is either you experience anorexia and do not want to eat, or you experience huge appetite. Some people deal with their stress by not eating at all, while some people eat more, too much, when they are in a state of stress and maybe depression. The next sign is there is a lack of motivation. Lack of motivation to do the things you used to love to do, things you were very anxious to do, things you used to love to do, activities you used to enjoy, hobbies you used to enjoy. You've lost motivation to do them. A job you used to enjoy to do, you've lost the motivation to keep working. The next sign is that there is a change in natural tendencies. For someone who used to be very, very tidy, and then the person starts becoming comfortable in a distorted environment, in an environment where everything is disorderly, the person just puts things anyhow. You have to be very careful. You should start asking yourself questions. What's happening to this person? Is this person's mental health okay? And I also mentioned before, for someone who used to be very disorderly and is suddenly becoming very, very tidy, you should start asking questions. Why is this person becoming extremely tidy all of a sudden? It could be that he's learning a new pattern of way of life, but change doesn't occur suddenly. You will bear with me that change doesn't occur suddenly. So in case it's a sudden change of tendencies, you should start asking yourself a question about their mental health. The next sign is too much sleep, or the other way around, loss of sleep. For someone who is very hardworking and is always time conscious, and then you find that you suddenly begin to sleep too much, you do not want to wake up, you've lost the motivation to wake up and do your normal activities, you should start asking yourself if everything is okay with you. Probably you might just be experiencing a burnout, or it could just be more than the burnout and you're actually losing interest and losing motivation in your daily life activities. You should check your mental health. The next thing is losing interest in the things they used to love to do. We spoke about hobbies. The things you used to love to do, you're losing interest in doing those things. The next sign is the feeling of being ashamed and worthlessness. Are you probably coming from a breakup and you think that the person left you because you were not worth it? Or maybe you lost your job and you think that you are not worth life? Or someone out of an argument, the person made mention to you and made you feel worthless. And you've been thinking about it and you've been crying about it. You should check your mental health. You should check your mental health. And what I'll give as advice is that if you notice that someone you love, probably your child or your friend or a family member or someone in your community, is exhibiting a couple of these signs, it is important to pay attention to them. If you can give them a listening ear to understand what they are going through, to understand their feelings, and of course probably give advice, it will be a good thing. And in case you think that it is something you cannot handle, it is good to seek for help. And most especially, I would say that it is important not to let the person be alone during this period when the person's emotions are in a low state. It is good to be present, the presence of loved ones, the presence of family members around somebody who is going through emotional crisis is very important, and it helps to rebuild the person's morals and for the person to gain interest in living, interest in healing, interest in moving on with their life. Did you love this video? Did you find the information in this video useful? Please give us a thumbs up, leave us comments on how you manage depression, on how you manage burnout, on how you manage suicidal tendencies, or what are the signs you check out for when you're checking on the mental health of your loved ones, please subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever we make videos like this. See you in our next video. Bye bye.